So there is so much buzz these days around AI, from flashy tools and bold predictions. So in your work, how do you decide what's worth investing time in versus what might just be hype?
So right now there's a proverbial AI arms race underway. Businesses across industries are vying for dominance through rapid AI adoption. But in reality, AI isn't always the right solution for every business problem. And sometimes pursuing a technology without a clear understanding of the problem can lead to wasted investment and missed opportunities. So within my team and my firm at Lantern, we prefer to start with business problems, understanding what those problems are and what those opportunities are, and then figure out what are we trying to solve? What is the outcome we're trying to solve before we even start to talk about the technology? And then once we clearly defined the business problem opportunity, then we can consider whether AI or any other technology is the right tool for the job. It's about being intentional. AI is incredibly powerful, but it's not magic. And when it's aligned with real business impact, that's when it delivers meaningful, lasting impact.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially coming from someone who has worked across many industries and regions. And it's clear that you're grounded in the bigger picture and not just the next big thing. So you've talked a little bit about your personal mantra: lead with empathy, build with purpose, grow with vision. So how does that show up in the way that you lead or mentor your teams?
It's more than just a mantra. It's how I try to show up every single day. And it's forged by 30 years of experience working across many very large corporate Fortune 500 businesses. I've never believed in screaming and shouting to get results. It might drive some short-term action, but it doesn't build a team that's engaged and motivated and excited about the impact that they can make. I'd rather create an environment where failure is seen as an opportunity to grow, not a reason to shut down. I think that's an important part of my leadership style. And in AI work especially, it's easy to get caught up in tech for tech's sake. But I always bring to the conversation, what is the purpose? What are we building? Why are we building? Who does it serve? And what is the meaningful change that we're enabling? And that mindset helps my team look beyond just code or models. They start to understand the businesses they serve and the outcomes that matter, and how technology becomes a lever, not just a tool. Empathy guides how we collaborate, purpose guides what we build, and our vision keeps us moving forward.
I love that. And it sounds like that mindset helps shape more meaningful work, not just faster delivery. Shifting gears a little bit, what's something that keeps you grounded when life and work are moving really fast?
First and foremost, the thing that keeps me most grounded is my son, Taylor. Knowing that everything I do isn't just for me, but for him as well, gives my work deeper purpose. I think most of us can relate to that some way. We're not always just working for ourselves. There's other people that depend on us. It reminds me that my responsibilities go beyond work and they directly affect my little person's entire life and future. So it's a hefty responsibility that we need to bear. Personally, I also enjoy boxing. I find it's a space where I can push myself around physically and mentally, keeps me sharp, keeps me honest, and it gives me time to reflect. And it's actually really good for mental health. It's just a good way to ground yourself in something where you just hyper focus, and obviously it keeps you fit, healthy. And something I've always believed in, and it's a saying that I repeat quite frequently, is that still with fortune fire. We're shaped by our experiences, both good and bad. And in fact, oftentimes it's the hardest times that give us the deepest wisdom and the resilience to face whatever's going to come next. That's what grounds me. Life moves fast, work moves fast, but it's the fight that makes you stronger if you lean into it and move forward regardless of how difficult it can seem at times.
Those are really good reminders. It is so easy to get swept up in the pace, especially when everything is moving really quickly. Can you please share a piece of advice that has been a guiding light throughout your career?
One piece of advice I always tell myself is stay on mission. And it has that kind of military connotation. That's not necessarily what it's intended for. There's moments in our careers when we feel nervous and anxious or scared or even completely lost. When you stand up on a stage in front of 1,000 people, you could find it quite overwhelming. I think that's probably something a lot of people can relate to, where whether it's a Teams call or a big presentation where they've been asked to stand up and speak to a bunch of people and they're not comfortable doing it. And I'll add lots and lots of those moments. But the key is to keep going, to be mindful of the message that you're trying to share. Focus on the message, focus on the mission. What are you trying to achieve? Just keep your mind on that, but everything else to one side. And inaction is the biggest cause of failure. And so whenever things are really tough and I find myself questioning everything, I come back to that simple phrase, stay on mission. Doing nothing is the worst thing that you can do. And it reminds me that nothing meaningful happens by accident. Progress only comes when you keep moving forward. Even if it's just one step at a time, purpose, persistence, and belief in yourself, that's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to get you through.